Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Denise Salcedo, and I am very happy to introduce to you my guests for today. They are WWE Hall of Famers, Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers. Hello, how are you guys?
G'day, Denise. How you going, dear? I'm Butch, and I'm back in my home country, New Zealand, just 60 miles north of Wellington, which is the capital city, and which is in the North Island. I'm in a little farming town called Otaki. It's summertime. I'm listening to the birds singing. I'm looking at our gorgeous green trees, and I'm sitting here looking at your gorgeous smile. It's good to be on your show. Yay! Let's do it.
I'm so excited to have you guys on. Seriously, you guys are awesome.
Whoa, this is Luke here, Bushwhacker, and I'm in Tampa Bay, Florida, Clearwater to be exact. Anyhow, Tampa Bay, the home of the Super Bowl this Sunday. And Butch forgot to tell you, he's just come in from chasing the sheep around the fields. He always gets up early in the morning and he goes to pick a nice fresh sheep.
I love that. I love that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. You guys are reuniting, making this, comeback here. How do you guys feel coming out and just being able to talk to everybody, do the media rounds, and really reminisce on your career and everything that you guys have done?
It's so exciting, Denise. It's unbelievable because this time we're not just caught in the bushwhackers or the sheepherders or the lost stories. This time we can come out with it all. We can be the bushwhackers. We can be the sheepherders. We can be the bush herders. We can be the sheep whackers. We can be whatever we want all at once and one for all. So it's exciting. And the people have never seen that before. So here we come and we're ready. I hope you and all the fans are ready, Denise, because I know Luke and I are. Yay!
I'm looking real forward to it too, Denise, and that this is the first time in 20 years. We've had over 16,000 matches each. The ring time between the both of us is about 95 years of ring time, in ring, and that. We've been on planes traveling the world for 55 years together. So this is a big time. We haven't done this for 20 years, except when we went we did a little thing on the West Coast in 2015 when we went in the Hall of Fame. But this is the first time we're actually going out to meet the fans one-on-one.
What made
and we're
you
looking
decide?
really forward to it.
What made you decide to do this reunion once again? What was it that you're like, we got to go out there, we got to meet the fans, we got to talk to the people? What was it?
Well, this was going on for we went in the Hall of Fame in 2015, and I don't know whether you saw the Hall of Fame, but Butch was on crutches then. He just had a hip replacement, and he had septicemia. He could tell you about that. But and then we had people from the next year asking us about us doing a tour. But due to his health, he had to recoup, and it took him years. He was near death twice over a 10-year period, and now he's ready to rock and roll.
Amazing. Did you want to add to that, Butch?
Oh yes, certainly I do, because it all started for me in 2001, and I was laying all by myself, blowing up like a balloon with septicemia running through my body. And Luke came back from on a road trip because he couldn't get me on the phone and he was worried. He got on a plane and he flew down to Tampa, Florida, where I was. I couldn't open the door because I was unconscious. He broke into the house, thank goodness. And there I was, unconscious on the bed. He rang the ambulance came. I died in the ambulance going to the hospital. That's how bad I was. They said if Luke had been another 12 minutes later, they would not have been able to bring me back. So over the years, they took me years to get me mended. And then unfortunately, I was just coming right. And I got septicemia again in 2008. This time my gorgeous wife, Helen, saved my life. and picked me up off the floor, off unconsciousness. Again, I was taken to the hospital. Again, I died on the table. And again, they made a comeback and they had me in the sheep shed, locked up, putting new parts in me, cleaning out all the septicemia. I was so full of septicemia in my body that my heart stopped because I couldn't pump, because there was so much pus in my body, the heart wouldn't move. So luckily, one of the great surgeons opened me up, let out all the gush, and away went the heart again. So all that time of repairing, all of a sudden, I started to feel a bit better. The new parts were in. They started to put some new oil in. I had my oil and grease. My wheels were starting to roll. And when I heard that door open up, all the time I was sick, all the fans kept saying, "We're praying for you." They sent me so much love, Denise. I had love coming from all corners of the world. And I said to Luke, "We can't finish it like this, mate. We've got to get together. We got to go out there. We got to show those people some thanks, gratitude, not only for how great they've been to us all over the years, but how much love they gave me and how much encouragement they gave me and how much they helped in my fight to be where I am today." So now it's our turn. Go out there, give back that love, give back some entertainment. And we can't wait to carry that New Zealand flag again around the world, just like we did for 50 odd years, Denise. And here we come, mate.
What a journey. I mean, they, like you said, they put the parts back together, and I feel like you were able to kind of see like what it is that you really wanted to do in your life. And that was, you really can end it this way. It's like, have a nice, moment to just, talk, like just do so much. You have the opportunity. So that's amazing. So I kind of want to go back to when you guys started teaming back in 1966. Did you ever think that your career would have this much of a, the length of the time that you guys, over 30 years? I mean, did you guys ever imagine all of that?
Our legacy goes way back. We wrestled people, if I mention the names, and that, we wrestled The Rock's grandfather. And Butch even went to the Samoa, the home of The Rock's grandfather, for the 10th anniversary to wrestle The Rock there. The Rock's grandfather, High Chief Peter Malvia. We wrestled The Rock's father all over the world. And then we wrestled big names that sold out Madison Square Gardens in the 70s. And another name that was big in wrestling was Bret Hart's father, Stu Hart, who owned a territory. In his latter years, he come to the ring, joined his two sons in the ring against Butch and me and the Dynamite Kid. This was in 1979. So, we came over to North America in 72, dear, with the Beauty and the Beast gimmick. Tell them, Butch, about the Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yes. Well, Luke used to, he was a pretty boy. He's still a gorgeous looking man, isn't he, Denise? But
I would say so.
Wow. Yeah. But he had a gorgeous George type person then. He was all dressed up, long blonde hair, a lovely gown on, and he would go in there and do all this gorgeous George stuff. And then I was the crazy beast. So for a long time, he used to take me to the ring on a collar and chain, right? He would be there all pretty with his hair all right. My hair would be all over the place. I'd be spitting and cursing, and I'd be on that choker chain. The time we reached the ring, Denise, I was blowing up. I chased the fans all over the arena. I'd gone through all the chairs. And they changed my name from Brute Miller the Brute to Crazy Nick Carter. I can't go in right now where he got the Nick Carter, but so now it was Sweet William and Crazy Nick Carter. And he loved that leading me on the chain and the ropes and through the ropes and that. But then we became the Sheepherders because I couldn't be the pretty boy, as you can see. Yay. So the next best thing is Luke had to be a little bit nasty, if you know what I mean. And he had that nastiness hanging down and hidden underneath that gown of his. So we got a little wild, and then we became one of the most feared tag teams in the world today. We became the Sheepherders, and we caused nothing but havoc and blood and guts throughout our Sheepherders days.
Well,
Right,
North
that's
America.
exactly. So, like, speaking about that, I know you guys had some of like the bloodiest, the most wild matches that you guys had as a Sheepherders. Tell us a little bit about some of the memories and maybe some of the things that you felt were like the most dangerous things that you did and kind of how that all felt.
Well, it was coming out of the, for a start. You know, Texas, every home has at least 3 guns. And we lived in San Antonio, and we worked Texas, not all over. We didn't work way out west, but we'd worked around a 300-mile radius in Texas. At that time, there was 3 different promoters there, and Texas is, as you know, the Wild West. Well, we came out of arenas like in Austin, and we couldn't go to the car. We couldn't go out there. A lot of times our tires were slashed. The front windshield was knocked in, or windscreen. The back windscreen was knocked in. The tires were slashed. And a lot of times the police had to come into the building and their car, put us in the car and have our car taken to the outskirts of the town so we could go in it. You know, that's how it was back in the 80s, and that, you know, especially in the Latin areas.
Oh,
You know, we worked in Mexico. We worked in Arena, Mexico a few times. You know, the Arena of Mexico in the downtown Mexico City. But working in Texas, working in Puerto Rico, working in Venezuela, working in the Caribbean, you know, it was wild. We escaped. We're lucky to be alive today. There's numerous stories that, you know, we had to fight our way back and fight our way in and fight our way back to the arena. One night in Puerto Rico at an anniversary show, we put a finish, you know, it was we did a finish that got so much heat that it was an hour and a half between our match and the next match for the riot to calm down. I was carried out in a stretcher. Butch was still in the ring. He came out with me. But going from the ring was by home base, and we had to go down into the dugout. Now, you know how close that is. That's about 30 feet, right, for home base to the dugout? Well, that night, it might have been 20 minutes fighting the people off with security around us, and Butch fighting the people too. And the boys coming out from the dugout to try and surround us to help us get back. And that was one of the bad. We were lucky to escape. We did a lot of hospital matches, ambulance matches, where the fans jumped in the back of the ambulance and tried to beat us up. And we had insane times.
That sounds incredibly wild. Did you want to add to that, Butch?
Yeah, we did dozens and dozens and dozens of barbed wire matches, night after night after night. Our bodies were carved up like cabbages, if you know what I mean. And
mate.
Yes.
Tell them the one. Sorry, but Butch can tell you a good story here about in Trinidad on the cricket pitch, where we weren't in the bad guys' dugout or the good guys. They made a special dressing room for us. Tell them about this night, Butch, and the brick going in the back of the car.
Yeah, well, this night I forgot the name of the guys we were working with, but they weren't very good.
Thunderbolt Patterson, the local guy.
Yeah.
And the mighty Igor.
Yeah, Igor. That was it. Anyway, we're in the ballpark, Denise, and they didn't have proper changing sheds, so they put up like plywood, like car case material plywood, and they built, like about an 8x8 shelter for us to get changed in. And we got changed in there. And then when we got escorted to the ring, and we had this wild match, and it got out of hand. And even though the wrestlers we were wrestling at the time weren't that good, they didn't understand that we were trying to keep it in our hand to control it, but they didn't understand to calm it down. Next minute, away went the fans. Luke and I had to fight our way back to the shelters of these car cases. We just got there and they smashed the car cases down. Now we're out in the open. No car cases. Couple of guys, someone gets a pickup truck and drives the pickup truck right through the middle of the ground. There's people flying everywhere, some of them glancing off the pickup truck. They grabbed our bags and threw them in the back. Luke, I hopped in the middle of the truck. Luke hopped in the back. Off we went through the people. The only way out, because they were trying to smash the van and they were trying to smash the windows, and if they'd have got us, they would have killed us. Next minute, a brick comes through the back window of the truck and hits me in the back of the head and nearly knocks me senseless, split me wide open from one side of my head to the other. Luke sees what's happened and he loses control. He jumps out and starts chasing all these people that he knows where the brick came from. Right, Cousin Luke?
The one guy.
Yeah, one guy, but he had to go through all the people. Anyway, he lost him in the end. So in the end, we had lost Luke. But luckily, down the road, he thought to come down. The truck waited. He took us back to the hotel. Luke was picking glass out of my head for the next 2.5 hours with tweezers, getting the glass out, stitching me up with sticking tape as tape to hold the cut together. And we had a few cold beers. And in the end, as much pain as we're in and how dangerous we were, we just went, cheers, mate. We got through another one. Here we are. We survived another battle. And Denise, that was just one of very, very many close shaves that we had as the Lost Stories or Sheepherders in those days then, for sure.
Well, I'm sure that even oh, feel free, go ahead.
No, I even remember that because when I jumped out of the side door, you know, Butch was in the middle and chased it, and I saw the guy and that because he started running, and that we were in the middle of the road now, just outside the gates of the arena, and there was about three lanes of traffic going one way and 3 lanes of traffic going the other way, but it was nearly at a standstill. They were creeping along, and we were diving and rolling over hoods of cars. I'm chasing the guy over hoods of cars, just like in the Starsky and Hutch movie. You know what I mean? And he went into a little, like a hotel, a small bed and breakfast hotels. He ran up the hallway, stairway, and I stepped up, and he went through one of the bedrooms. I don't know who was in it. He knocked the door down, and who in it, because I followed him through. I can't remember who was in the bedroom, and he went down the fire escape on the outside of the house thing. He got away from me in the end. But I still remember that. I still remember that Butch and the van and the pickup had hardly moved. That's how slow the traffic was jammed. You know, I came back down and that must probably move 20 yards and all that time.
Wow. And I can only imagine like how many more stories you guys have. And it's like so crazy to hear because wrestling has changed so much. Like you don't get that anymore.
Unbelievable. And it's all going to be in our book later on as well, Denise. Our book's coming out this year, and it's all those stories are in that book. Unbelievable how lucky we were. And that's even before we came to the Bushwhackers.
I'm so excited to like read all of the stories because like I said, you don't get that anymore. So to kind of hear like these stories of how it was back then and the type of heat and the type of rage and anger or whatever emotions that you can get out of the fans is amazing.
Unbelievable. Even to see the rage and hate on the people's faces because they were just in the middle of it. you know, get them away from there. They probably calm down in 5 minutes, but they were in that moment. Yeah, very
Panama. Another one was in Panama, dear. You know where the Panama Canal is.
Yeah, I know where the Panama Canal is.
You know how hot. You know how Panama, they love blood and guts. You know, they've had boxers from there, and that it's just numerous places where they were in the 80s, and that where the people, you know, a few drinks, and of course, there's a holiday in Puerto Rico called Three Kings Day. It's like their Christmas Day. They celebrate Christmas Day, and then the 6th of January, they celebrate Three Kings Day, which is the presents again. So the Puerto Ricans have been drinking from Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, right through to the end to New Year's Day, and then right through to the 6th of January. And that day, we used to have the biggest shows in the island, in the ballparks, and by then, that's when the fans were really drunk and really wild, and there's a lot of places where Butch and me just escaped.
Wow.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that brings me to my next question, because, you know, as the Sheepherders, you guys are like having this, you know, totally different life, different career. And then all of a sudden you get approached by WWE, and, you know, you have, you know, the Bushwhackers come to life, and that's a totally different, you know, character change. How did that feel to sort of go from what you guys were to then going into the Bushwhackers, something totally different for you?
Tell him, Cuddles and Butch.
Oh, it was a relief, to be honest with you, when Luke got the call from Vince, and he said, "I'd like you to come up and let's talk turkey." So he sent the limousine, the airfares down. We went up first class. He had limos to pick us up from the airport. He took us to his office up there in Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut. When we went in, there's Vince sitting at his desk. He said, he introduced himself and that, and he said, "Listen, I've been watching you guys for many years, and we love you guys. We think we can make money with you guys up here." And we said, "Wow." And then he said, "But how would you feel if we made you the good guys? Because that's what we feel we'd like to do, which would get you over the strongest." And me being the most excitable, as you've probably guessed, I jumped up on his desk on my hands and knees. My face was 3 inches away from his. And I said, "Vince," I said, "if you can make good guys, baby faces, out of these faces and heads, we're in it 100%. Go right ahead." And I gave him one of these. So Cousin Luke being Cousin Luke and a better businessman than me, he pipes up and said,
Yeah, I said to him before we got into that, I said to him when he mentioned about being the good guys, I said to him, "Well, bring us in as the bad guys and turn us." And of course, you never tell Caesar what to do. That was Vince's nickname those days, Caesar. And because Vince is, you know, what Vince says, he does, you know, anyhow, you know, and when he said that, the good faces, and Butch said that, make these faces, he says, "Look at the mugs on my top baby faces. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake, you know, Randy Savage. They're not the prettiest faces in the world, and they were the top drawing stars for him at that time."
Yes, exactly. So now I have one final question for you both. You know, I know that, you know, this is a hard question just because it's so broad and so many years of your career, but kind of looking back and reminiscing, what would you say is the thing that you're most proud of or most fond of when you think back about your career together?
Well, one thing that we are proud of, we've always given 100%. We've always been known as one of the hardest working tag teams in the professional wrestling, even up till this era. And we're proud of that. If we gave our word, we were there. If we signed something, we never argued, we never held people up for money. They tried to split us many times. We stayed together, and we've done it together. It was like we feel now, since we got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2015, we feel like we've been right up Mount Everest and reached the top, Denise. We feel like we stood on the top of Mount Everest, just like Edmund Hillary did for New Zealand, the first one to ever climb Mount Everest. We feel like we've waved the New Zealand flag. We've made New Zealand very proud, and the rest of the world has fallen in love with the Bushwhackers, because what Vince did is not only did he stop the people from wanting to rip us apart and wreck our cars and that, now they wanted to get at us just to shake our hand and pat us on the back and say, wow, thank you so much for giving us so much entertainment. And, and the love we got from everybody was incredible. And the big difference of being a bushwhacker to the Sheepherders is with Vince, you were treated not as a professional wrestler, Denise. You were treated as a celebrity. The fans treated you as a complete celebrity. You're on a different level, a different plane, if you know what I mean. And that feeling was certainly fantastic. And when we got inducted, all those things came running back. The barbed wire matches, the blood and guts, this and that. And wow, I just used to look at Luke and I say, hey, mate, we done it, mate. 2 old young New Zealanders, whatever you want, in little old New Zealand, 5 million people. And we have conquered the world in professional wrestling. Great feeling, Denise. Great feeling. Now it's our time to give that love back to all our fans.
I could only imagine. That's so awesome. Luke, do you want to add anything?
No, hey, all I said to the office when they told us we were going to the Hall of Fame, I said, about bloody time. But underneath it, I was excited as hell. But it was a long road from 1966 in Wellington, New Zealand, when we had no television till 67, and then we only had it for 3 hours a day. We left in 1972 we left in 69. We'd been going to Australia from 66, but we went to Singapore, Bangkok, Japan, and that from in the early 70s. And 72, we decided to come over to this side of the world. And that was a big change. We're now, we weren't wrestling fans. We'd seen Bob Butch was a bodybuilder, a weightlifter, weightlifter sort of thing. And I got in the business, and because of my friend next door, he was a bodybuilder, and the promoter, the judge from the Mr. New Zealand show said to him, do you want to make some money with that body? Now, we'd never seen any wrestling on TV. I haven't even seen a magazine on wrestling. And the second time I went to one wrestling show. The second I was on the ring in the gym. The old gym I started in was Coolman's. It was like the gym in the first Rocky movies. The old steam pipes rattling. All the weights were lying around the floor. They were kettlebells. There was very few plates. You know what kettlebells are, darling?
Yeah, I do. I do.
And there was 2 machines. There was a squat rack and a bench press rack. There was no other machines, just scattered weights. And it was 2 boxing rings. The gym was notorious because a lot of Commonwealth champions went through there in boxing and amateur wrestling. The rings were as hard as floor. Bush and me started, on rings as hard as the floor you're standing on. That's how the rings were. And that it was 4 ropes and then 8 8-minute rounds, 8 6-minute rounds. And you had to do at least 6 rounds. Otherwise, the people would be pissed off and not come back to the arena again for another show. So it was a different kettle of fish that we started in. But we drove ourselves, went through it, and learned American style. it was British European style in New Zealand at the time. And then now we're here. I'm living here in Florida. Butch is back in New Zealand, but he's been, he's gone home for the last 15 years, and that because he's got his family, he's got a new wife there, he's got his daughters, and he's got his grandkids. I'm over here, and I have a Latino wife, and we're all happy, and we're really excited. They're going on tour, and for the people out there who want to contact us and see us in their towns, if they go to bushwhackerbrand at gmail.com, they can contact us. Bushwhacker, BUSHWHACKER at gmail.com. And our administration team will reply to you, and we'll be coming. If there's someone who can fix up a show there, a signing, any kind of a meet and greet, Q&A, virtual, if it's an independent wrestling show, go to that email and we'll be on your doorstep as soon as we can.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much, both. It was an honor to talk to you here today. And I'm going to go ahead and share all of that information in the description box of this video so you guys can be easily contacted. But I want to thank you so much for the time that you guys took to talk to me today. I can't wait to read the book and just see everything that you continue to do. In the meantime, guys, do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe to Pro Wrestling Sheet for more videos like this. And thank you so much. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Okay, Denise. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to say, if the fans want to see where we're going to be, if they go to Bushwhacker Luke at Instagram, at Facebook, at Twitter, they'll see our running sheet and what towns and where we will be at.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'll give you a look. Hey, Denise. Just had to give you a good licking, Denise.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.